safety is essential. Keep our students and our teachers safe. 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 Our children deserve to be safe.
I don't think any of those people should ever work again.
How are you guys doing? I hope you're having a good day, because it's going to be difficult to stomach what I am going to be talking about today. You see, there are a lot of concerned people, especially the impoverished ones, about their kids not being able to go to school. And the reason for this is that it's very important to get an education in order to get out of poverty, or so they claim. Now, the people in the United States, at least, that are the most outspoken about reopening schools seem to be the trade unions. Now, the school trade unions are the second biggest unions in the United States. So they wield a lot of power and influence. Now, there is no grand conspiracy or grand narrative on why they don't want schools to be reopened. It's a very simple economic process that I'm pretty sure every human being can relate with. What if I were to tell you that tomorrow you don't have to go to work anymore, but you're still getting paid? So you can literally just sit at home like royalty, while other people risk their lives through the pandemic because they're called essential workers. And they're the ones that are going to earn money and keep the economy going, but they're going to be taxed, and a part of their taxes is going to feed your fat ass. Now, if you are to do something like this, a lot of people will have an incentive in order to continue the way things are. It's literally the reason mankind invented slavery. It's like you get to sit home comfortably like royalty while the peasants work the farm, while the slaves mine the quarry. And this is the unfortunate system that has taken place. Now, a lot of people didn't want to believe that this level of cynicism and selfishness can exist, but it's being exposed as prominent figures from the teachers' union post their daily life on social media. So on one hand, they go out in public and they say that they're afraid to go back to school because they don't want them or the kids getting sick. Like, that is something that they want to avoid. And they're very afraid about the pandemic. But then on social media, they show that they travel out of state in order to have a vacation on a beach without wearing a mask. So it seems that the fear just goes away when you travel abroad. It seems that the money that you make for not working eliminate that fear, doesn't it? And you know what's the most upsetting out of all of this? Is that if that lady were to go on a vacation and not post it on social media, no one would know. There isn't an army of paparazzi following her. It's not like investigative journalism is a thing. So by posting it on social media, it shows just how brazen she is, that there are no repercussions. Like, she can literally one day talk about why it's dangerous to go out of your home, which is why she can't perform her job. But then the next day she goes on a plane with other people and goes on a vacation. And, it's just in your face. Like, what are you going to do about it, huh? What are you going to do about it, Nothing. You can't do anything about it. So it's no surprise when you see Californian school board members caught on a hot mic insulting parents, saying that the only reason parents want schools to be reopened is because teachers have to babysit their kids, or because parents want to smoke pot while the teachers are at school. And this actually did get a little bit of a backlash, calling for the resignations of the board members or for them to be recalled. And there were parents saying that they have children that have autism and they require some special care and they can't provide that at home. But I don't even know why that needs to be even brought into the conversation. Because at the end of the day, it's simple. If a person gets to stay home and gets to be paid for not doing the job, they get to feel like royalty. and the people that get to pay them become the suckers. And then there's others who also are members of the union, and they lecture people about why the schools need to remain closed while they take their own children to private schools. Isn't that wonderful, right? Because their children do need a proper education. And you're looking at this and you're wondering, okay, but how do they justify it though? I mean, how do they justify Amazon workers as being essential while teachers are not essential? How do they make that justification? Like, how do they justify? Because they can't just go out in public and say, look, we just like staying home and making money. I mean, you guys understand. Like, who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want to just stay home and make money? And the way they justify it is by promoting equity. Because you see, before now, it used to be equality. But they don't want other people to be equal with them. Because if everyone stood home, then no one would make money. You still need some dumbasses to go out and work so they pay taxes for the teachers to be able to stay at home. So how do you justify it? Because you can't use equality. In a world where everyone is super, no one is super. So now they promote equity. Now, equity is this ambiguous term. No one can really define it. I haven't seen any politician like give what they understand by equity, even though they promote it. And I haven't seen journalists give a definition of what equity is. But the way it's being pushed, it seems that it spreads the world in different factions based on arbitrary characteristics. So you have whiteness versus everything else. And whiteness is not white people, but it's a culture. And as the name implies, it's promoted and it benefits white people. So in order to have equity, what they're doing is they're targeting the individuals of that group. Like any white person is treated as very suspicious. And as such, when a person makes a claim, they cannot analyze the claim until they look at the genetics of the person that made the claim. And if it's a white person who made the claim, then it's clearly a claim hidden in mischievousness. It's an evil claim. It comes from an evil person, and therefore the claim must be evil. Don't believe me? Okay, look at this. A woman wrote several articles asking for the schools to reopen, and apparently she got this email from a person that works at the United Teachers Los Angeles. And what she wants to know is, because she's doing like this research where she is looking at the race of the people making the claims for the schools to reopen. And she wants to know, like, this woman has an Iranian name, but without wanting to make assumptions, could you tell me how you racially self-identify or point me to a citation of your identity? In other words, if you want schools to reopen, it's like, okay, but the genetics. What are your genetics? Are you pure? Are you pure? What are your genetics? This is how they're acting. It's bizarre. It is an ideology that's meant to hide something else, which is that these people want the privilege to stay at home while getting cash. So the solution that I don't understand why right-wingers haven't figured it out by now is to say, okay, we're not doctors, okay? We don't know the science. We're just dumb people. We're just idiots that are completely incapable of articulating thought. All we know what to do is to go work and make a living wage so we can put some food on the table and feed our families if the government so allows us. And from our hard labor, the government taxes us to keep society running, including education. So if education stops, why are you taxing us for it? That is the question that right-wingers should ask. It's like, okay, fine, stop the learning, stop the schools, perfect. You know what? We agree. But the teachers shouldn't get paid if they're not working now, should they? Or if you're saying, well, no, they're still working from home, perfect. You know, cut their wage by half then, because they're doing half the job. If you were to do that, I guarantee to you, within a week, probably, like, this is an exaggeration. A week is probably too much. But I guarantee to you the teachers' unions would be the first one asking to reopen. How do I know? Because that's what business owners who had their businesses shut down are doing. Do you think if they were able to still make money while staying at home, they would advocate for something? No one wants to go to work. Who the fuck wants to work? Who enjoys enjoys working. Let's be honest, there's probably 10 people on the planet who enjoy working. If you think you enjoy working, you're probably one of those 10 people. In reality, most people are lazy as fuck. They want to stay home, do nothing, and make money. It's human nature. These teachers are pure humans. They have a level of humanity that I can empathize with. I feel them. I feel them right here in my little heart. That's what they want to do. Stay home and get paid. Everyone wants to do this. So if you want to fix the problem, you know what the solution is. Petition so that they don't get paid. Why are they paid anyway? Why is this a thing, by the way? Like, can anyone tell me if you're a left-leaning person, right? Why are politicians get paid during a lockdown? Oh, because their job is essential. No, I understand, but it's a lockdown. Everyone has to make sacrifices, especially our leaders. How can a leader lead if not by example? They should be the first to say, you know what, we're already rich people. We're already millionaires. We don't need more money. Okay, let the money go to some relief bill or relief fund. By the way, when's that relief fund coming, huh? But that's how normal people would think. It's like, okay, why is it that Amazon is making money? No, they should be taxed to high heaven now. Because we're all in this together. It affects all of us. All get affected, right? That is the narrative that should be pushed. That is how people should think. Why is it that some people have to suffer while others don't? Oh, it's a free economy. How the fuck is it a free economy if people can't go to work? So either it's a calamity and all of us have to show solidarity in this moment of need, or it's not a calamity and then it's just people profiting off of it. And if it's people profiting off of it, then it's fine, but at least say it the way it is. It's not like anyone can do anything about it. I mean, no, seriously. This allows people like this to lecture you about privilege.
Some voices are being allowed to speak louder than others. We have to call out the privilege behind the largely white, wealthy parents driving the push for a rushed return. Their experience of this pandemic is not our students' families' experiences.
Okay, so you have an ideology now that doesn't care about the arguments. You have a person that literally cannot be fired. Like, they literally cannot be fired on national television who gets to speak with the highest politicians in the state and lectures others about privilege. And then, like, here's the beautiful part, okay? Because when every person thinks that, okay, if the idea comes from a specific race, then the idea is evil, which is the genetic fallacy, by the way. But if everyone has the genetic fallacy in mind, then all you have to do is to portray that an idea comes from a race and just marginalize all the other voices. Because, like, here's someone else that gets marginalized.
It's like minority families who want the schools to open more than anybody else. And the reason why I say that is because education for us, for our culture, is the stairway out of poverty. So every day that our children is not in school, that's just a day closer to poverty for them.
Most of our kids, before the pandemic, we had an 80% honor roll rate. Now, since distance learning in Zoom classes, that dropped to about maybe 20%. Like, most of my A's and B kids are getting B's and C's.
What a white supremacist. Now, of course he gets marginalized by the establishment. Like, they're not going to talk that there are also other people that are complaining about it. And he's right. You know, well, partially, I guess. Yeah, he, in a way, he is right. It's the poor people who suffer because the rich people afford private education. And that's not all that's happening. Because you now have this idea of teaching students bullshit. Like, utter bullshit. Even math is now requiring a change of thinking. And we need to, like find different ways to teach math. Yes, the thing that is working up till now, the thing that gave you the internet so that you can hear a Romanian scream and have a squeaky voice as he waves his arm like a crazy person through the camera. Yeah, that ability comes partially because of math. No, that needs to be changed now. But I'm telling you what, rich people, they're going to teach their kids actual math. They're not going to diddle around with it. And I can tell you something else, you know, like this idea that education makes you smart. You will notice that there's a lot of people now that are complaining that they finished the university and they don't have a job. Why is it that we stop hiring smart people? Or did we start teaching them garbage rather than actual things that are important, like how to write a resume, how to get a letter of recommendation, how to look for a job, how to social network? You know, like these actual things that you would think would be important to be taught aren't being taught anymore. Instead, you're going to be taught about equity, inclusion, diversity, you know, things that are very essential, but they don't really have a good track record at finding you a job. You are much more likely to get a job if you become a plumber, if you learn a skill that's actually usable and people want to hire you for it. Like, that is something that's actually going to get you through a job, and it is going to get you a lot of money. Like, I know plumbers that make more money than I do, and I got 2 degrees, both sitting in my drawer, gathering dust. Yeah, and there's a lot of people that are like this, like people who got educated and get to do nothing with their degree. Absolutely nothing, because it's useless. It's garbage. No one wants it. But I'll tell you this, like, for some reason society laughs at plumbers. You know, that they sniff, the guy with the butt crack. And they look at plumbers, not necessarily with disdain, but definitely, like, it's their lesser. You know, it's the servant. Oh, yeah, you summon the plumber and you look down upon him as he, goes down into your toilet to fix it. He makes more money than you, most likely. He makes more money than a lot of other people. And he works for that money. He doesn't get handouts. It's not the taxpayer paying for him. You know, he doesn't require a handout. I don't know. Seriously, like the trade jobs, like being a builder, being a plumber, being a carpenter, making furniture, like these are jobs that are universal. Like, no matter where you go, in what country you are, you're probably going to find a job for it. But being a gender studies major, yeah, good luck with that shit. And this is the future. This is the staple of authoritarianism coming down, because all the schools and universities, all they do now is they give something for the student to memorize, and then the student has to reproduce what they memorized. That's it. Like, very little input from the student is required anymore. It's like, just memorize this shit and then reproduce it to be at the exam. Because they're not interested in getting people to think. Okay, like, a person that thinks for themselves is dangerous. They don't need fact checkers anymore. No, people need to know how to do. Okay, that's the difference. And I speak with a lot of subscribers which do have like small tech companies, and they tell me whenever they hire a person from the university, they need to be handheld. Like, they need to be constantly told what to do. It's not that they're not hardworking or anything like that, but like, they need to be told exactly how to do their job. Meanwhile, they can hire someone that learned to code by themselves, and they don't require hand-holding. Like, they just find ways around the problems, and they try their best in order to find the solution without having someone telling them how to do their job. Because that's what the education system is about now. Just teaching people how to obey and knowing, like, the basics of what they need to do, so that someone else who didn't go to the public system but went to the private system can be on top of them, and they're now the brains. Okay, so the lower people are the drones. They're just doing what they're told, like the cogs in the machine. But the brain is the prestigious person that managed to go to a private school and then go to a private university studying something useful and learning how to network and connect with other people and create a social net that gives him an advantage in life. And that's the person that gets to tell other people how to think. And it seems that that's where we're going. Anyway, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment section. If you love this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It does help with the algorithm. And if you really love the channel and want to do me a solid, then please, there's a link to my subscribe star. Even small donations help. And especially when I'm talking about these topics, right? The teachers union. It sounds ridiculous, but it's like one of the most powerful entities in the United States right now. See you guys in the comment section.